Good evening, and greetings to everyone. This is your man, Derek Terry, host of I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying, where if you're going to complain, bring some solutions to the table. So, welcome to another episode of I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying. And before, like every show I get into, I'm actually going to keep it a little soft. I'm going to go into my segment, What the Heck is Derek Complaining About Now? So, and I try to be a little soft. And basically, what I just want to tell people is that there are a lot of people who do things in the community. A lot of people do things for a variety of different reasons. But when they do things, most people don't do it to get a award, an accolade. They do it because it's from the heart. So I encourage people, if you go out there and you do things from the heart. Don't do them because you expect something in return. Just do them because that's what God is telling you to do, or that's what your heart is telling you to do. So with that, please don't get on people that are actually doing something in the community. You know, if anything, if you want to criticize them, help them. Help them is what I say. So with that, I'm going to bring in my very special guest. Where's she at? She is probably the hardest working woman in Charles County. So I want to welcome Sandy Washington, Executive Director and founder of Lifestyles of Maryland. So welcome, Sandy. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. And believe me, I'm very thankful that you're on the show because like you showed me, show everybody that wall back there with all them little stickies.
Let me see if I can give you a little picture of.
Yeah, she is the hardest working woman in Charles. Those are things that she needs to get accomplished. Hasn't gotten finished yet.
Yeah, and then across the room, of course, there's a little bit over there too. So yeah.
So I definitely thank you taking time out of your busy day. So let's basically go and get started. You know, how long have you been living in Charles County, and what brought you here?
I've been in Charles County about 38 years, believe it or not, 38 years.
Okay.
And came to Charles County because my husband, we were living in Philadelphia, and my husband was transferred to Maryland, to the Lanham area. And we looked all over for housing, and unbelievably so that we moved to La Plata. From Philadelphia to La Plata, and people still ask me, how did you find La Plata from there?
Well, was he in the military or?
Well, he was in military, but he was transferred here. He worked with General Electric Medical Systems.
Okay.
And they transferred here. And I tell you, I know that God has a place for each of us. And I believe that when I landed in La Plata, it was my destiny. I truly believe that. So.
All right. So as you've been here for 38 years, and I know you've seen a lot in Charles County, why did you start Lifestyles here? Or did you start Lifestyles in Charles County, right?
Yeah.
So what brought about that start of Lifestyles?
You know, I kept seeing people trying to find services and going from place to place to see where they could access services, no matter what it was, whether it was trying to find help for an elderly parent or trying to find out how to access services through agencies. It was always kind of choppy trying to see what they could do and how they could access services. And so in talking to people, I started working with the Alzheimer's Association when my middle daughter graduated, was going to college. I kind of went through this midlife thing of, oh my goodness, now what? And it was then with working with the Alzheimer's Association, I found that people were coming to me for everything else, not just for caregiving advice and not for other things, but because they didn't have a place to stay or they didn't know how to get their children in a camp. And so I needed to look at how to get those services to people. And then I found when you called agencies and organizations, many times you were able to get some of the information, but you never knew whether the person really connected with the service or not. And so I started wanting to know whether they connected, and it just grew from there.
And when you talk about grew or growing, I was really astonished of how many different types of services that you provide. I put together like a little small PowerPoint, but as I bring it up, can you briefly tell us about some of the services that you provide?
Sure. I, if
Hmm?
I'm able to see it, I'm not
Oh
okay.
no, I'm saying you can describe. Now this is I didn't put all of them up here.
Oh,
I just
okay.
put some. You can kind of tell us some of
Sure.
them as I dealing with technology. So as I
I
get this thing
understand.
ready.
Well, we really have five major areas that we deal with. One is our health and wellness, and that's a smaller division that we work with holistically, making sure not only our clients but our staff are dealing with their health and their wellness. We deal with our homeless services, and that's everything from street outreach to helping folks find sustainable housing. And we do street outreach several times a week. We do a wellness check. We have a homeless emergency system where we actually text people that are homeless, that we have their information, to find out if they're doing all right, to tell them when we're coming out, and seeing if they have any other needs. And so we have that. We have our transitional housing, our housing services. We operate the Robert J. Fuller House. Excuse me, and we have two domestic violence homes that we operate, and another home for women and children, or for families. We also are redoing the White House Motel, Southern Crossing, that will provide housing for 77 individuals in apartments, from efficiencies to two-bedroom units. We have a transportation program where we take seniors to and from appointments, grocery shopping, hairdressers, wherever they need to go. In addition to, we partner with Springdale. We provide transportation for Springdale, Serenity, and we do some transportation for the Department of Social Services and in Charles County, and we've expanded to transportation in Calvert and St. Mary's County as well. We have our
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Well, like I was telling someone, a couple days ago, I was just astounded. Like I knew you did a lot, but when I looked, I was like, wow, that's a lot for one organization. So what I did, I just, just to show the audience some of these things, and I also have your website up. But we mentioned the homeless service and the safe nights. I've participated in that on several occasions. And, and I think what surprises people when you talk about homelessness is that how can we have that in Charles County, being one of the quote unquote richest counties in the state of Maryland? But it happens.
Yes.
And it's not, it shouldn't be a walk of shame, because people are put in situations for reasons that we can't explain. And unless you lived a day in their shoes, who are we to judge? So that's just one of the programs. The other one, it was a lifestyle. It's the one where people can donate food and clothes and things of that nature. And some of these things I just kind of like just got off the website, but I just wanted people to see, because their website is Lifestyles of Maryland, and as you go on there, it'll have all the different types of services you provide, as well as an opportunity to donate. But one of the things, and well, actually, we'll come back to this, but what I wanted to touch on was COVID. So when COVID hit, how did that, and I know in a negative way everyone has been impacted, but how did specifically impact lifestyles?
Oh, wow. First of all, it hit us structurally as an organization because of the need to close certain aspects of what we were doing. We had staff that were laid off, and that was going to impact us. But you know, when I think about it, Eric, what really hit me and hit us as an organization during COVID was the realization that people were being told to do certain things, stay isolated in your homes, wash your hands frequently, all of these things that people were being told to do. And we were here screaming and saying, but what about the folks that we serve? They can't stay sheltered. They have no place to wash their hands. There is no sanitation station for them. How do we get them, where PPEs, how are we getting PPEs to folks where we couldn't even get PPEs to be able to go out and serve them, and yet to give them PPEs so that they can be amongst other folks? And so what hit us right away was, how do we make this known? How do we get their voices heard in all of this? And so that became our immediate, kind of thrust, was to be able to say to our emergency services and to our health department, we have a population out there, and not only do we need to provide some things for them so they can stay safe, but your safety depends on their safety, because these are folks that are going to be mingling in places that are open or going to be out there. And if we don't put things in place to mitigate the spread of COVID with them, it's going to affect a larger group of folks.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on something, because like I mentioned earlier, we don't know what put people in these situations. So who are we to judge? And the COVID, unfortunately, put people who probably weren't homeless in a homeless situation, but couldn't really take advantage of a program like Lifestyles, because you had to make drastic operational cuts or temporary cuts or whatever it may be, and still had to serve to a degree. But I'm assuming that you still served, but you couldn't serve at the intensity and really maximize all your resources, because now your resources were somewhat limited. Because I know, your nonprofit and a lot of other nonprofits, I see what the struggle, because to some degree you were already struggling trying to get supplies and resources, and now you're hit with COVID, and you kind of have to sit back and hopefully, hope things that get better from a COVID perspective, but we also hope that things get better for the homeless situation and all the other services that you provide. So when we talk about these needs, and I'm going to bring this back up, what are some of your dire needs? Like some of the things, like, if people wanted to either donate or they want to take some initiative and trying to be part of the solution versus the problem. I just put some of these things up here, but I know there's meals, there's toiletry kits, there's optional food items, outside of money, and we'll get into that in a minute. What are some things that you can think of that is not on the list because of COVID? It's put you in this situation.
Yeah. So one of the major things are food. Food is all, food, clothing, and shelter are always essential needs. And we have partnered with End Hunger in Charles County. Since the pandemic, we have served close to 66,000 meals.
You said 66,000?
66,000.
Wow.
To folks in Charles County alone through our cabanas that we've partnered with, and as I said, with End Hunger in Charles County. It has been a tremendous kind of drain on resources to do that. We have volunteers that are putting those meal kits together every single week to get thousands of meals out to these cabanas. And so that is one of the areas if people want to shop and provide those things. We've also provided toiletries with that. And so that's why you see the information for the toiletry kits, to be able to provide those things to families. Basic things, to be able to brush your teeth, to get toothpaste, to have those things, because these families are stretching their resources that they have to keep, pay their bills, to hopefully pay their rent and do some of the other things that they sincerely have to do. This is a strain on families that are not possibly homeless, but low income, because now somebody's staying home trying to, with teaching their children at home, not having daycare capabilities and other things. So we're trying to work with these families through mentoring and other things to link them to resources. So anytime that we can get supplies to these families, that's a big help. You talk about the impact too. I don't want to negate the fact that when COVID hit, we had to close down Safe Nights as a congregate shelter. So we closed our shelter almost 3 weeks earlier than planned, because churches were somewhat fearful of what was happening. You've got different people coming in each night. We weren't sure about testing and PPEs. And so we had to close down the shelters and still help find people a place to stay, or at least find a place to provide them other things. It's not, doesn't seem humane to give someone a tent and a tarp to say, here you go. But sometimes that's all we could do, is to purchase that tent and tarp. And through COVID, we've been able to go out and buy portable showers that we have provided to folks in encampments, so that at least they could have the solar showers to utilize when nothing else was open. So the needs are so great. And as we're going into this winter time, we're getting a little snap of the change in weather now. And so we're seeing what's happening. We are preparing more and more as we look at whether people can stay in churches. We've made arrangements with motels, and prayerfully we'll have the White Plains Center open by November 1st to be able to house some additional people there. But we have to be careful of congregate stays.
All right, so real quick before we move on, what I've also put up here is the location sites. I don't know if they're still all open. I know we have Indian Head Town Hall, the Free Gospel Church. Is that still open for deliveries and donations?
Yes.
We have the Lively Stones Ministry, Dorchester Community Center. So all these centers that are on your site are still open and welcome.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the challenge for all my friends out there that are listening, and I'm gonna be perfectly blunt. If you can donate $100, or if you can buy $100 worth of food and clothes, whatever it may be, for Lifestyles, I challenge you. That's my challenge. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to debate. I'm not, I like buying food, so I have to see. I may do both, but that's my challenge to my friends and anybody who's looking out here, because like we know, you're just one nonprofit, but we know you cannot do this and sustain this on your own. And as I'm going through this is a picture of Charles Crossing. I'm sorry, not Charles Crossing, Southern Crossing. How we plan on, because I think you're still in the building phase of it, but this is just an aerial view of what it will look like. And this is one of the transitional homes, I believe, that you talked about.
Yes, this will be the apartments for 77 individuals. Yeah.
So what I want to know is who are some of those critical partners that, although we know you can't do it alone, that without them, it would be even more difficult to provide these services to. And how many, families or people do you serve in Charles County? You have an estimate?
We serve anywhere from 10 to 13,000 annually, and 85% of those are Charles County residents.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are some of, and it's up to you who you want to mention, but some of those critical partners that really are assisting you in this effort, and they may be doing the same thing, but I look at it as really being a joint effort.
Yes, it is. I mentioned already our partnership with End Hunger in Charles County. That is crucial when we start talking about food and food insecurity in our community. They are one of our partners that we work with. certainly Southern Maryland Food Bank. We have partnered with our summer meals program with the Charles County Public Schools. We have worked with the Arnold House to distribute information and food so that we can share resources with them. One of our major partners is the Department of Social Services, and it's because we consider ourselves the nonprofit Department of Social Services, because if you look at the array of services, we provide a lot of services together and jointly, so we work together with that. The hospital, believe it or not, as we look at our discharge planning and our hospital social workers, we meet with them every month to go over cases of people that are homeless or people that the hospital sees that really should not be left out in the elements. So the hospital, the health department, all of those folks we work very closely with to assure that we're making sure people get the services they need. Our Office on Aging, Charles County government, when you think about the community services and our housing authority, we have to stay abreast of services that they may provide or information that we can provide to them so that they can certainly look at other ways to serve this population. I think it's important that we look at the needs of the people and being able to share those needs with whoever can help them in the community. The business community is a big part because they play a part in what we do, in getting our folks employed, making sure they have some place to go, and making sure they feed back into the community. So, our Department of Labor. So I can tell you we have about 84 organizations and agencies that we partner with on a regular basis.
And that is remarkable because it really is a testament to everything that you and your organization has been doing in Charles County, but really to the heart and soul of why people do things. And I said at the beginning of the show, people, when you do things, don't do things for awards, for accolades. You do it from the heart and what God is dictating for you to do. And I don't want to. Well, yeah, I do. And people who know me, they know that my trust factor is the circle is small, and I can definitely say that you're one of the few in the world that I admire when it comes to you're doing what you do because it's from the heart. You don't expect anything in return. You're doing it from the heart. Because I've had a lot of conversations with you. I've helped out, and if I gave a penny, you would appreciate it.
Yes.
And that says a lot really about you and about everybody who's surrounded by you. So I'm definitely appreciative to know you and to help out in any way.
Derek,
so,
I know you have other questions, but I thank you for that. And it makes a big difference to hear that. I've heard from folks to say that I'm the most misunderstood person in Charles County. And I think that's quite interesting since I honestly don't concentrate on what people think. I guess I don't have time to do that. I really want to know usually how can we help, and if I can't help, I just move on and do what I think needs to be done. I am so privileged to have been surrounded by people that are volunteers and staff that have a heart for the people, that Lord knows they don't come here for the money. So they have a heart for folks and for making a difference. And they know that their travels and their journey in life has prepared them for whoever we run into. So if you've had a hard time getting the job, believe me, somehow God's going to make you run into the person that is having a hard time getting the job and saying they've lost hope and all of that. So I believe that what you bring to the table is what your life experience has brought you. Excuse me. I appreciate every time you've been able to go out there, from preparing meals to distribute to being the milkman. And we've done over 34,000 gallons of milk since we started this venture. So.
And I don't even drink milk. That's the thing about it. I don't even drink milk. I'm lactose intolerant. So but I gave out a lot. So,
Yeah.
and I understand with the nature of your business, there's a lot of stories and probably some nights where you go to sleep sad. You may not go to sleep at all. But if you can think of, and I know there's some feel good stories, but what is that one feel good story that regardless of how many times you say it, how many times as we get older, that you will never forget?
You know what, excuse me, what comes to mind, and there's so many of them, and I can talk about the lady that found hope, and the gentleman that we had come in and had been homeless for years and had an opportunity to come in and stay with us. Unfortunately, he died, but his family was so grateful that he didn't die alone, and for 30 days of his life he lived in under shelter and all of that. But I think what really hits me most is that many years ago, a young man said to me, he was homeless, and every day he would come to the office to get a shower and get some food, and he kept coming back and forth. And one day he stopped me and he said, "Miss Washington," he said, I've been coming here for a while." He said, and I just have been trying to figure out. He said, "You've helped me." And he told me the things that we've been able to help him with, and we've seen him transition. He said, and I kept wondering, what's your game? What's your angle? He said, I couldn't figure out what your angle was. He said, you know what? I finally figured it out. You don't have one. That touched me, because we're dealing with people that are always looking for the angle that somebody has. What's their angle? Why are you trying to help me? What are you going to get out of it? So when people realize that there's no angle, there's no side game, there's no hidden agenda, all we're trying to do is what God told us to do. And for him to realize that and him to say it back to me, it's the realization that I have that's been a part of the philosophy of this organization all along. For anybody that works here or volunteers here, there's no hidden angle. Don't have one. If you have one, this is not the place to be. We're here to serve.
And for those that are watching, I'm telling you, she is speaking the truth. And I guess, as we close, and once again, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. If there is any, and I have people who watch this show as far as Germany, because I have some relatives out there, some as far as Hawaii, some as close as right down the street, some that live in areas that are, I guess, quote unquote, the people would say they're in a far worse situation than ours. But I don't care where you go at, there's always going to be an element of hardship. There's always going to be those people that fell on hard times and need to be lifted up. If you could, I guess, say anything to anyone out there, and I would say about really dispelling the myth, because I think for me, it's very frustrating to hear people say, well, they just don't want to work and blah, blah, blah. And I tell people, it's not to really to equate what homeless people go through, but I was homeless for 2 days based on pride. Because I didn't know whether or not I was going to get the apartment. I had no place to live. I didn't want to call none of my friends, and they worked it out. I was living in my car for 2 days. And there was an experience. I would go to the military gym, take a shower, because I still was in the military, but no one knew. But that really opened up my eyes to, like, wow, imagine somebody having to do this for 30 days, 40 days, not in a car, outside. And I'm just fortunate that I was blessed, by my parents, to not look down on people. You try to lift them up. And with this slogan, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. So what is it that, if you could say anything to people out there, what would you say, just to, it can be words of encouragement, really anything that you want to say?
So I guess our big, our vision and what we say is we provide help, hope, and transformation. Hope is a big thing. And without it, you may not look for that job, or you may not look for other opportunities. We can't assume that people see things the way we see them. And sometimes it's a matter of exposing folks to something else to be able to have them go the next step. And so when you look at the person that's, you're saying, well, they're driving that car, why do they need food? Well, when they drove that car off the lot, it lost value. And they don't have, their income has changed. So if they got rid of the car, they can't get to the job search, and they can't take the new job, and their credit is not good enough now to get a different car. So we can't judge folks by the car they drive or the house they live in, or that a homeless person has a telephone, because that telephone is their lifeline. So everything they're doing to be able to pay for that phone is to make sure they can stay connected to someone. So not using that as judgment. Don't use your judgment to determine whether you can reach out and help someone else. Because sometimes, I know we have our masks on, but sometimes it's just a smile. And you know what? People can see your smile in your eyes. Sometimes it's just a nod of the head to let them know, I'm not judging you, I understand. And being able to connect them somewhere else. There, but for the grace of God, go I.
Okay. So how can people get in contact with you as far as your website or phone number?
Yes.
And I'm gonna put this, when this is already for them to see on the post, so they'll have that information with the website, but we can say it and it'll still be on there.
Okay, and reach us at lifestylesofmd.org. And there we are, and visit our social media pages on Facebook. They tell me Twitter, but I don't know all of that. I already joked with you.
I don't use Twitter neither.
I don't use all that stuff.
I'm struggling with Instagram, but I just try to keep it simple, showing my age too, but I just try to keep it simple. But
our website, social media, and we respond. At least within 24 hours, folks will hear from us.
All right, well, Ms. Washington, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Know that not only I love you, but we love you here in Charles County. We appreciate you. I know every heart that you have touched appreciate you. And we're going to get through this. And, like I always tell people that want to complain, well, I don't know if they can see this. I don't know if it's reversed or not. But, and I say this because if you're going to complain, bring some solutions to the table.
Yes.
Because nobody has time to listen. People out there dying, they're hurting. You can complain all day, every day. First thing I'm going to say, what's my solution? I don't have one. Okay. You're wasting time.
Right.
So, but I definitely appreciate you wasting some time here.
Thank you. No way.
And I wouldn't say wasting time, giving up your time here to not only tell us about the lifestyles of Maryland, but to also let people know what's going on and how you can help. And like I said, my challenge to people out there, I'm gonna talk to my wife. I don't know if I'm gonna give $100 or go $100 shopping, but I'm gonna do something. And I'll probably call you to see if there's a specific need. I'll get that specific need. But I challenge people, if you can't give 100, give $1, give $10, give whatever. But to my big money people, you know who you are. Rather than go out there and get the latest pair of shoes, you can get borrowed about 10 pairs of shoes to a homeless person for $100. They can get shoes $10 a pop. Yes. May not be what they want right then, but guess what? It's getting cold. They need something on their feet. So once again, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Take care, and you stay safe yourself.
All right, you too. All right, peace and blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Once again, thanks to Sandy Washington, the Executive Director of Lifestyles of Maryland. And if we learned anything from her words, learn to care, give from the heart. And there's still, even with COVID, there's still a lot of people out there struggling. And look, when COVID can be long gone, there's still going to be people out there that are going to need our assistance. It takes a village, Charles County. It takes a village, Baltimore City. It takes a village, Baltimore County. It takes a village, Birmingham. It takes a village, LA. It takes a village, Iowa City. It doesn't matter where you at. It takes a village. there are people there that are put in situations that they had no control over. So rather than judge, let's care. Rather than complain, let's provide solutions. Rather than hate, let's love. Peace and blessings.